What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I'm Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson, and as always, I'm joined by the podcast dad himself, Chris Hoops. Hoops, how you doing, man?
I am in a grateful mood today. I will explain a little bit after you get done with all your plugs, but I'm pretty happy today. I'm not gonna lie.
I like this. This is good. There were a couple of times last week you were a little bit crotchety, so it's nice that you're coming in upbeat, especially on a Monday. That's what I appreciate
Yeah,
as much as.
I might have caught up on the sleep after Elimination Chamber. So
Good for you. So did I. Anyway, guys, welcome back to our channel. As always, hit that QR code in the top left corner. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Help us to run those numbers. We're at 982 followers on Twitter. We are so close. So make sure to give us a follow. Head on over to our YouTube channel to subscribe as well. New videos damn near daily at this point. We've got some great interviews that are dropping this week. Thanks again to Corey McRae for joining us this past week, or joining me anyway, just since you weren't available. But looking forward to sharing this conversation with you guys. Couple of other programming notes. As always, we've got Wind Down Wednesday coming up this Wednesday night at 8:30. And Thursday night, 8 p.m., 7 Central, we will be back on Wrestling Spotlight, giving our official AEW Revolution picks. This is Sting's last week as a full-time wrestler. We're gonna do a special AEW episode this week, but kind of your initial thoughts knowing that this is the end of the road for the Stinger.
it's uh it's wrestling, so I'm gonna hold my breath on the retirement angle. But yeah, it's I think a good time to go look at the career of Sting and kind of what we've seen from that guy. He's had a lot of insane moments for all the way from RoboCop to main eventing with Ric Flair and debuting his debut match at WrestleMania, that Survivor Series, amazing debut that he had, and you know, but it was a moment. It was a
Incredible.
moment where we never thought we would
Incredible.
see Sting at a WrestleMania, and it happened. His WC, him carrying WCW for as long as he did, his TNA run, which is vastly underrated,
Yeah.
and his kind of reemergence in AEW, where we've seen some stuff that we never thought we would see from Sting, especially at this age. So yeah, it's a good week to kind of go back and look at everything that this man has done in the wrestling business.
Yeah, because I mean it's again it's damn near everything that he's done. I mean every major promotion has felt the Stinger effect. So it's definitely gonna be different without him. I know that we're saying never say never here, and retirements aren't always forever in pro wrestling, unless except for Shawn Michaels. He retired in 2010.
Okay.
He retired. Yeah, he retired in
Okay.
2010.
Hey,
Say it with me. Say it with
he.
me. He retired in 2010. Okay, great. Anyway, so Elimination Chamber is in the books. Perth,
Hold on,
Australia.
hold on, hold
What
on,
a
real
week.
quick, real
Yeah,
quick, real
of
quick, real quick, real quick. Want to give a couple shout outs real quick.
course.
I would like to shout out my lovely wife for dealing with this crazy wrestling schedule we've had over the last couple weeks.
Yes,
So thank you to her. I love you. Eric loves you for letting
I
us
do.
do this.
I acknowledge you, darling.
She's been very amazing as of late, letting us kind of live this dream that you and I have. So I want to give her a quick shout out, and then real quick, and I know I don't always do it, and I'm going to do it today, Mr. Cincinnati. I would like to thank you as well
Oh, buddy, you don't
because
have to do that. I don't like where
this
this is
week
going
this
now.
weekend, and we're going to talk about the chamber, but this weekend I feel like we saw some of the worst on the internet wrestling community, and I am very happy that I have a co-host that has a realm of realism, logically can talk to me about wrestling, and can just keep his emotions in check, and just is there, and you can kind of is not going to get all wrapped up in everything. So I want to say I appreciate you, because if I was doing this with anybody else after this weekend, I don't know if I'd be doing it anymore. Just because it was so toxic this weekend that I was
Yeah.
off social media all day after the chamber on Saturday. I didn't get back on Twitter until probably Sunday afternoon, because I was done with the internet wrestling community. I was done with everything about it. I was tired of it. We People didn't get what they wanted, and they just bitched and moaned and cried about it, and I
Yeah, it
was
wasn't great.
so damn annoyed, because now you are attacking the men and women that are doing it for no reason. saying that they did it for selfish reasons. I'm just I, I'm
Yeah.
annoyed with it. I do want to shout out Kyle and my son as well. They are some of the good ones in the community, and very very appreciate them. But yeah, like this weekend, I think we saw the worst side of the internet wrestling community, and it made me take a step back and go, okay, there might be some things I need to start blocking out of my feed.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a lot, and we're gonna get into a lot of it here. But this should just be the periodic reminder. Let's just, wrestling is meant to be fun for everybody, and we're not all going to always get what we want out of this business because it's exactly that. It's a business. As much as we want to, believe that we have some say and input in what they do, and sometimes that is true. Other
That is true.
times, not so much. There's constructive ways to voice any criticism, and that's certainly what we try to do here on this show. So, again, if you agree with that sentiment, make sure to like, share, subscribe. If you know at least one person that would enjoy our
Yeah.
podcast and kind of how we approach talking about professional wrestling, share this with
We're here to
them.
have fun.
Exactly, yeah,
That's what it
and
is.
we're not, and there are plenty of times where you and I have both, been frustrated at the ending of a show, but we
Hmm.
always tune back in the next day. We turn the page, we see kind of how they're going to go from, what it is that they're giving us, and hopefully we kind of remember that we're 40 days away from WrestleMania and biggest show of all time. And there was a lot that finally came to light, or at least the picture of what this card is going to look like is a lot clearer now. So let's dive right on
Yep.
into it. Elimination Chamber started with their preview show. Kabuki Warriors defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell to retain the women's tag team championships. This was a pretty straightforward one. Indy, home country, home continent, wanted to get her on the card. She got a huge ovation. But Kabuki Warriors, this reign is going to continue, and they need to establish their dominance. And this was a solid win to help them to continue to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this was a nothing match. There's no story behind it. It was just to get Indy on the card. I don't think either of us expected those two to win. It's just a way to get Indy Hartwell a match in her home country, and well deserved. And it's always fun to see that reaction. But yeah, nothing too in depth on this one.
Yeah, I mean, at this point now, we're fully on the road to WrestleMania. There are no more PLEs, no more stops. WrestleMania is it. Kabuki Warriors are mixed up in this storyline with Bailey and Io Sky. Shout out to King Chris. Thank you for joining us last week for our Elimination Chamber preview show. Always good to see you in the chat, my friend. Um, but yeah, I mean, Kabuki Warriors at this point, they've got this. They're in the middle of the damage control story. What do you think that we're going to see as far as WrestleMania for them?
Probably a four-way. They like to do those where they get as many people on the card as they can, and there's not a clear tag team for them to go against right now. We may see it in the next couple weeks, but I think a multi-person match is probably the way that it's going to go.
Yeah, this is perfectly fine. I mean, they've done a great job of establishing tag teams as of late on both sides of the roster. So, yeah, definitely want to see. This could be the biggest test for the Kooky Warriors, and they need to come out of WrestleMania with these championships. Highly unlikely that Io is going to win at WrestleMania, so they at least need to remain some gold within damage control.
I don't know. It depends on who the other team is, because if it's Bianca and a certain somebody, I don't think they're going to beat them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That one I will take back. But actually, that's a good transition here into the first match of the official card, the Women's Elimination Chamber. Becky Lynch has defeated Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany Stratton. Um, this was a great match. I mean,
Yep.
they continue to up their game with these gimmick matches, especially with the women's division over the last couple of years. This was no different. I mean, this was an all star lineup of women that were in this match here. So I'm gonna kick this over to you. Just give me your thoughts on the match and what we saw.
Tiffany, my goodness, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is
Yeah,
that girl is going to be a star. The crowd loved her for some reason.
she ready? Yeah,
I don't know why, but she's ready. She's going to be. I think I told you that night that I think she's going to be champion at least once by the end of this year. So it
yeah.
just that's my biggest takeaway from this chamber is Tiffany is made. and they have something for years to come with her. Becky winning, I think, is the right choice. Her and Rhea is the money match. Um, yeah, and I'm excited to see what they do with Bianca. Naomi was kind of a, eh, I'm gonna wait and see after Mania kind
Yeah.
of thing with Naomi. Liv and Raquel, I think the best thing to do with them is to put them back together, let them team up for a little while, and then maybe we eventually get a heel turn. One of the things too, no, Chelsea Green. One of the things that I would like to see told a little bit more is the last 2 years of the Royal Rumble, Liv was the last one eliminated.
Yeah.
She was the last one eliminated in the chamber. She was in the Money in the Bank and failed to win. Like I think she was knocked off the ladder last.
Yeah.
So tell that story, and if I can get like a heel turn from Liv, I think that'd be something really cool and kind of the vindictive and the whole revenge aspect that she's doing. I think that would help her character and put her over the top.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack about this match because this match is what divided the internet this
Mm-hmm.
weekend, and not in a good way whatsoever. Um, First things first, I'm going to start with Naomi because, yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily hitting the panic button on her
Mm-hmm.
just yet. This is just an immediate return. She came back in the middle of WrestleMania season. She had a great run in TNA, but there were a number of women on the roster that deserve a WrestleMania spot ahead of her, and that's not to say that they won't find some way to accommodate her, hopefully.
I think they will.
But yeah, I'm not going to freak out about this, even though she was eliminated first. You know,
Give it
no
time.
reason to have any. Yeah, no reason not to yet. So this one kind of was what it was, but I do want to talk about Bianca next. She looked pretty damn distraught after she got pinned. She's just sitting in the corner there and just like,
Yep.
I like because again, everything that we're seeing on our screens is starting to mean something now as far as the presentation and finally kind of reining in the production that WWE has been doing as of late. She's going to get more and more desperate because right now she doesn't have a path to WrestleMania. We certainly don't know how to we don't know what to expect here. We still haven't seen Jade Cargill on TV yet. There really hasn't been any interaction between Kabuki Warriors and Bianca in a very long time, or at least not since this Damage Control story started post Rumble.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how quickly they get her into something ahead of WrestleMania. I'd heard a rumor online, or at least read this on Twitter, that there might be the potential of her bringing up a stable from
Yeah.
NXT and maybe having that find some way to get her
I
a
don't know.
spot on the WrestleMania card.
I don't know who that would
There aren't
be.
a whole yeah, there aren't a whole lot of names. And I'm going to shout out Kyle from Main Event Network. I think that he had said in one of our group chats that he could see Lash legend Jakara Jackson from Metaphor. Um,
Yeah.
if we're thinking, if we're thinking names here. But it remains to be seen. There's still 40 days. Bianca's one of the biggest stars in the company. We know that she's getting to WrestleMania, but this is very much like Seth Rollins in 2022. She doesn't have a clear path, so she's going to do what she has to in order to get herself on that card.
So you're predicting right now she will have a mystery opponent and Sasha Banks will show up?
No, I'm not doing that. No,
Just like
no.
with Seth when Cody showed up.
I'm just saying
No,
that
you
they're similar. Yeah,
you're right. Like
and
she
yeah,
doesn't have a clear path. I think the choice is yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for anything Tiffany does moving forward. I think she
yeah.
is. I mean, sky's the limit right now. They see a lot in her, and I think she's proven herself well. Yeah, Tiffany's gonna be something special. I think.
Yeah, I would say whatever creative they may have had in mind for Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, just give it to her. I mean, why not? We saw some of that with Braun Breaker taking over in the Royal Rumble for a certain someone. But I mean, this would be the appropriate place to do that same thing here too. I mean, she was over. She looked, and they said it on commentary because this was Tiffany's first chamber, Becky's first chamber. There's definitely not any fear in there because you don't know what to expect. I mean, she went in and just showed up and showed out, man. I mean, that somersault
Yeah.
swanton off of the top of the pod, perfection, and there are very few people that can do that as perfectly as she did. So sky's the limit here. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the big story of this match. Liv Morgan was the favorite for a lot of people in this match, and that turned out not to be the case. And I believe that it was those final three or final two eliminations were right back to back as far as the
Yep.
finish. We both thought that it was very well done. But there are people that are upset. The We Want Live movement has started on social media, and it's been trending for the last 2 or 3 days at this point now. Um, a lot of people are comparing this to the We Want Cody movement, and I can't say that I agree because that was Royal Rumble winner gets title shot at WrestleMania. Cody won the Royal Rumble. He earned that shot, but he comes out, says, I'm not going to fight you at WrestleMania. That's when the backlash begins, and that's when there was the potential about face. We don't know if this was the overall original plan, and I'm not going to speculate to say that it was or it wasn't, but
And I
it's
don't
kind of
care.
comparing apples. Yeah, it's comparing apples and oranges here. Liv Liv is a massive asset to
Hmm.
WWE's women's division. She just is. She's one of those people that I see as a lifer. She's going to have a great career. She's going to have more moments. This year just isn't her year as far as WrestleMania goes. We've said this for weeks on our show. Biggest WrestleMania of all time, biggest PLE of all time is coming up April 6th and 7th in Philadelphia. You need a match that has not been done before. Rhea versus Becky fits that bill. They've been teasing
Yep.
this since last spring, last summer. We've known that this was going to happen, and predictable is good sometimes because, again, this is a fresh matchup. And I understand that there's the story there between Liv and Rhea as far as the shoulder injury taking her out and Liv going on this revenge tour. And there's still, I mean, you can still do plenty with it this year after WrestleMania. Just because she came
Yep.
back doesn't mean that, you need to automatically place her into this card because the story makes sense. Plenty of time to let this one breathe.
She reminds me a lot of, as
Who's
far
that?
as not breaking that ceiling. She reminds me a lot of Dolph Ziggler. Like she's solid in the ring. She's dependable. She's always there, but she'll never get that great spot that Dolph always seemed like they could have had, but just never did. Um, yeah, I agree. I'm just and I agree with King Chris. Like I think they need a mid card title because how much fun would it be like at WrestleMania to have a 6-way ladder match for a new women's mid card champion, whatever that is. Like I
Yeah.
think they have enough women on the roster. They have enough TV time to do this. I I think I'm good with that. Like, but overall, Becky and Rhea is the money match. Liv's going to be around. We don't know how much longer Becky
Yeah.
will be around. She's already a mom. She's I think 38. So let's get the most out of Becky while we still have her around. And like this is the match I don't want to see.
Yeah.
This is a first time matchup. I don't Becky
Yeah.
and Rhea have never wrestled, right?
Yeah, Liv and Rhea have. I mean, it's
So
just it makes sense here, and a lot of the backlash, and I mean, we saw whole live streams that just went into chaos mode because Liv didn't win, and it's just like anybody really surprised I mean, I don't know. That's
yeah,
just me.
yeah. Like going into it, I read the odds and like Becky was like minus 5,000. Like
Yeah,
nobody else thought Liv was going to win. We went into this card thinking it was predictable and everybody we predicted to win would won, and that's okay.
yeah,
Um, and again, I am okay with Becky winning. I think
yeah.
it'll be a great match at Mania. So
Yeah,
I'm in.
predictable is not bad when done right. I mean, and we're gonna go through the rest of these matches, but overall, it was not a bad card.
No,
If we were getting shitty matches and predictable results, then I could see how. And there have been plenty of times if we go back to 2014 and 2015 that we would sat and
2016, and 17, and 18.
19. You know,
Yeah, there. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, we made it through that era. Yeah, I, I,
we
I
did,
agree with
we did.
Kyle. Um, we spent 20 minutes on that one. Let's talk about the tag
Yeah.
match.
Yeah, Judgment Day defeated New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate to
I
retain the
love the
Undisputed
logo.
Tag Team Championships. Yeah, this I was worried about this name. What up, Mark? Nice to see you,
Yep.
and welcome to the show, my friend.
Yep.
Yeah, this was a fun match, and I like that this team is back together, and this
Yeah.
was as NXT of a tag match as you could get on a PLE.
Yeah. Pretty good tag match. Um, overall, Judgment Day should have won, and they did. I think this is not the end of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. We will see more of them, obviously. Um, I know you want the whole Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn thing, but I'm going to keep them as a team for a little while.
Yeah,
Break up the tag titles. I think both brands could use it. They got enough teams. It was a solid tag match. I'm not mad at it at all.
yeah,
Although
yeah. I mean,
I am at the point where I'm starting to wear thin of Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank. So
yeah,
they need to figure that out.
yeah. I mean, July is going to be here before we know it, and there's, you know, I don't expect to see any sort of tease cash in between now and WrestleMania.
Maybe.
I know that Rollins is, or at least he's saying on the Grayson Waller effect, that he's a couple of days from being medically cleared. He got physical, during that segment. We'll talk about that in a
Yep.
little bit too. But I would imagine that they're not going to do anything to risk, again,
I
the
hope
the
not.
longevity of their world heavyweight champion because they avoided major disaster already. So
They did. They did.
fingers crossed on that one for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, I think actually no, that the segment was next because it did kind of split up those last two matches there. So Grayson Waller with his hype man Austin Theory welcomes Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins to the show. Great hometown pop for Grayson Waller. I don't think that anybody expected anything less from that. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. And
Yeah.
this was a pretty straightforward segment here too. Cody challenges The Rock, no big deal.
Yeah, I didn't need it. I think I said that in the moment too. It felt out of place. Like, yeah, Cody challenged The Rock, but like they're not going to do that within the next 6 weeks. So what's the point?
No,
Um, he said everybody wants to know why I originally gave Rock the opportunity, and then he didn't explain why. It's like that was a little jumbled. Yeah, just the whole thing with Rollins and Cody is kind of weird because he even asked like,
yeah,
who do you want to win the chamber? And Seth's like, oh, I don't care. Like, shouldn't you be paying attention to what's going on for your title rather than kind of what's
yeah.
going on with the bloodline and helping Cody? So, and aren't you the same person that like shoved a Singapore cane like in his torn pec? like,
Yeah.
I I don't know. The dynamic's a little weird. It's a little clunky right now. I didn't need the segment, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think on paper we thought that this was going to be much more explosive. Maybe, even if Rock and Roman aren't there, maybe a pre-tape of some kind, at least enough to
Or Paul
kind of
Heyman.
keep the attention. Yeah, exactly. A little bit more than we got. They protected Grayson Waller. Basically, Austin Theory takes all of the offense from Seth Rollins. So, we at least get that step of, okay, well, Rollins is now getting physical. He's closer to being cleared, or if he's not already, that'll happen. So, yeah, this was fine. This was like a 15, 20 minute segment. Quite frankly,
Oh
we
yeah,
could have done without it, but it is what it is. I think we thought that there would be more with it.
yeah. Because like the whole thing on SmackDown, like Roman pulled Grayson Waller in the locker room, talked to him. Grayson Waller teased that he had something big, but couldn't tell him, and then it really wasn't anything. So, just
No,
I don't know. I don't know.
that's fine. Like I said, it's he's from Australia. They got to get him on the card. He doesn't
Could
really
put
have
him
a
in a chamber.
WrestleMania programmer. Who I think I know the answer. Who would you replace him with?
Lashley.
Interesting. Okay, I thought you were going to say Kevin
Who-
Owens.
No, no.
Okay.
Lashley didn't have a story going into the chamber. At least Kevin Owens had a Logan Paul issue, and you could have intertwined that with a Kevin Owens who has had issues with Grayson Waller in the past.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Lashley did have a story. It's just that Final Testament was not there and part of the match. We did
They were
eventually
not.
get we did get some interference in that chamber match. That's a
Yeah.
spot that also could have included Karrion Cross there as well. So yeah, let's get right on into it. Drew McIntyre has won the Elimination Chamber. Bobby Lashley, the first one eliminated in this match.
Killed it. He
That's
killed
kind
it.
of yeah. I mean, he was great. He was the MVP of the men's match. That's for sure. Made Logan.
I don't know
Okay,
about that one, but okay.
that's fine. Okay, yeah.
I would say Randy Orton was, man. Him selling that back,
That was
dude, that
yeah.
was
That had
amazing.
me yeah. That had me concerned in the moment. That was one of those. Oh, I hope
And
this is
he's going to
not
be able to
actually
do
it.
that the
Yeah,
rest of his career. And he is so good at it that, again, the commentators are doing a good job highlighting it. But like you said it best, it was almost like '02 Sean, where
Yeah.
every bump he took, you were really concerned.
Yep.
And Randy just he was in his game, man. He was selling so well. I loved it.
He's really loving life right now, and I love that for him.
Well, I mean, part of this, like, I think he's, like this is all bonus, right? Because that back surgery usually takes people out, and it took him out for a long time, and he didn't know if he was going to
Yeah.
wrestle again. And now he's
Yeah.
like, I'm back. I'm going to do what I can, and just like you said, living on borrowed time with it, and going, I'm going to do this as long as I can. I'm going to have some fun with it. Might as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the remaining participants in this match: Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Logan Paul. All have some involvement with each other. Logan's first elimination chamber. Let's start there. What did you think of his performance?
I think he did great. Um, he took a beating, spear through the
Yeah.
pod, got an RKO. Logan, I know everybody hates him, but that
No,
dude, that dude,
yeah,
he fits the mold. I mean, he really
he
does.
does. He does. I hate that
Like,
he's so damn good at it. No, I don't think that anybody really expected that he would take to it like a fish to water, but he
mm-mm.
has. And shout out to WWE's production team because that visual of him putting on the brass knuckles and then Randy literally off camera right into the RKO, absolutely perfect.
Same thing
I
with
think
the
it was a
finish too. Like
yeah.
the RKO, Randy, they zoomed in and boom, out of nowhere, there's Logan Paul. So same thing
Yeah.
on that close up as well. Sorry, didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off, but
No, you're good. You're good. The award for easiest work weekend goes to AJ Styles, who literally flew over to Australia just to
is that easy?
blast. I mean, just to go in there and beat some ass with a steel chair. Like, yeah, that's pretty damn easy.
I thought LA Knight had a great showing.
Yeah, he did.
Was one of the first two participants. I think pulled down like there was that where he jumped on the top rope like halfway through
Hmm.
the match where you could tell he was exhausted and pulled it off. LA Knight had a
Yep.
really good showing. I'm excited for LA Knight and AJ Styles. I'm glad to see AJ Styles has a path now to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
And if I'm booking it, and this is just me,
I think we're on the
if
same
it's
page
one on
here.
one AJ Styles and LA Knight, I'm giving the win to AJ Styles to continue to heat that guy up.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that's also, closer to the end of his career than the beginning, and he can still go. So get every WrestleMania moment that you can out of him. He is one of those guys that will get a great match out of you. And LA Knight, yeah, he looked great in the chamber, but he's
Yeah.
not necessarily known for long wrestling clinics, and this is another one of those opportunities to do it. Let's talk about the U.S. title picture going into WrestleMania. I think we all
So
thought
we'll
that
jumble.
Logan Paul, LA Knight would be kind of the WrestleMania
Mm-hmm.
story, but there's still that involvement of Kevin Owens. That story does not seem to be done with Logan Paul. Randy Orton is now got a reason to go after Paul too. Multi-person match at Mania for the U.S. title.
Yeah, maybe. I'm also thinking, I don't know. Could it be a six man? Like, could Grayson Waller, Austin Theory get involved with, an Owens, Randy Orton, and then maybe one other person? Um, I don't know. I would love a ladder match for the U.S. title. I think that would be a lot of fun, but I don't know which way they're going. They got to fill that card.
Yeah.
I would need to see how they continue to round out the card. Going back to AJ Styles real quick though,
Yeah, of
I think
course.
if you have AJ Styles win, that's a hell of a first challenger for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, for sure. Especially as this heel turn really starts to heat up here. We'll we'll
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes. But I mean, the fact that they brought him over to have some involvement in the chamber that gives you an idea
Yeah.
that they at least have something in mind for him,
Yeah,
which is
sorry.
good.
Just tells you how much of a AJ Styles fan we are on this on this pod.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
just
damn
it
right.
was good to see him. But yeah, like the U.S. title, I don't think Logan holds it past Mania. Wouldn't be shocked. Although, if he's one on one with Randy, I could see them giving him the win against Randy. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a fun picture because I don't know what the next step is. So that's always fun.
for sure, for sure. Main event time.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Women's
You want to talk
World
about Drew real
Championship.
quick?
Damn, that's right. Yeah, my bad.
You think he
Yeah,
resigned?
Drew McIntyre. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at this point, if you and we were that was the sticking point all week is if he is eliminated early, what order is he eliminated in? And I'll give you an idea.
Yeah.
But He won, so McIntyre Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Um, Drew's in his bag, man. This is some of the best
Yeah.
work that he's done in a very, very, very long time. The early Scottish Warrior transition when he turned face was great. Carried us through the pandemic. It got pretty stale pretty fast, and now he's finally pulling the nose up on the plane. And this is phenomenal work that he's doing right now.
So I'm thinking night one, main events Rollins, McIntyre. The bloodline cost Rollins. As McIntyre has been a hypocrite about it the entire time, saying the bloodline cost him everything. Now he
Yeah,
benefits from the bloodline costing Rollins. And then
100%
night
fine.
two, that's when you see the bloodline kind of attack. You see a Rollins come out, maybe not get involved, but like stave off the attack. A Jey Uso stave off the attack of a Jimmy, and then boom, we might get that Rock turn. But that's how I see kind of night one ending with Drew winning the title, maybe do a bloodline interference.
All right.
You're
Well, it
welcome.
remains to be seen. Yeah, I appreciate it. I acknowledge you.
Thank you.
Hashtag thank you, Chris. Main event time. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Women's World Championship. Man, Australia loves them some Rhea Ripley.
I do too.
Me too. Uh,
I do too.
this
Yeah,
was
it was
this
awesome.
was yeah. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this match. I mean, you're never quite sure what you're going to get with a Nia Jax main event, but she looked comfortable here. She looked very poised, remained calm. No catastrophic injuries or anything like that. So, um, yeah, this was the toughest test that Rhea has had in her 200 plus day reign as women's world champion, and this was the match that she needed. We've
Mhm.
been critical here for sure as far as the number of defenses, quality of opponents, etc. But this was somebody that could finally match Rhea's power game, and she withstood the test.
Yeah, and the match was fine. I don't think it was anything spectacular.
Sure.
A little bit more offense for Naya, which is good. They really played into the babyface Rhea in her home country. I will say Naya did a good job. I think this run has been a lot better than we both expected. Um, there were a little
Especially after
concerns.
Crown
We're a
Jewel.
little
Oh,
concerned after Saudi Arabia, but you know it's been better. I think they have booked Naya very well to now come out tonight and still kind of be that roadblock for Becky. So I think Becky gets another big win on the road to WrestleMania, gets over Nia Jax, and then can focus on Rhea Ripley. But yeah, it was cool to see Rhea win in her home country. We don't see that too often with people in their
no.
home country, their hometown. You could tell it meant a lot to her. And yeah, the
Yeah.
crowd was way into it. I was a little surprised that they main evented with them, and the crowd was kind of dead for in the middle of it, but then
Yeah.
woke back up towards the end. So overall, like you said, it was a solid show. I don't think there was anything too spectacular, but it's a show that did its job and set up one of the biggest events ever.
Yeah, for sure. And now that all eyes are on WrestleMania, two nights, two main event spots. We know that Cody Roman is getting night two most likely. Um, Early prediction right now of who's getting night one.
I think it's Seth and Drew.
Okay. Would you give any consideration to Rhea, Becky, or Io or Bailey?
I don't know if I'd give it to Io and Bailey. Um, I just feel like that story's not as hot as it could be, and maybe we'll see it over the next couple weeks with the Dakota. I think it's a fake injury, but
Yeah,
I think you said the
I
same
agree.
thing. Um, I don't know why that story just doesn't feel hot enough. It should feel a lot bigger than it is.
Yeah,
Um, and Rhea and Becky, I'd want to see the build a little bit more. Um, but like the Drew Seth storyline, is this the time that Drew can finally get the win over Seth? And like I said earlier, that bloodline involvement, does that close night one? And you're like, oh my god, are they going to do this again? And then we
yeah.
finally get that Cody win on night two.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, I'm
6 weeks
pumped,
away, man. Yeah, it's
pumped.
it's uh it's gonna be a damn good show. Any final thoughts on Elimination Chamber 2024?
Yeah, again, solid show. Nothing spectacular, but it was a good show. I will wake up at 4 a.m. to do this every once in a while, but thank God WrestleMania is back here in the states because
That's dude,
the
you did
struggle is real.
great. Dude, you did great, and that's the thing is, I actually got the podcast dad to stay out past bedtime. I mean, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
King Chris, I don't think so. I think Punk may be on like that pre-show panel thing that they do, but I do not see him getting involved in the match at all.
Yeah, I think the match is. I mean, that's definitely set for when he comes back because they continue
Yes.
to chirp at each other. You know, just leave him at afar. Let Drew kind of get lured into the sense of comfort because he's running through whatever his first, one or two, maybe even three challengers, depending on how long. I think we
I
got
could
probably
see
another
them.
what 5 to 6 months.
I mean, I could see them dragging that out to Mania next year.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
You know how Papa H likes these long title runs.
He does. He does.
I mean,
I don't
long
know.
title. When was the last time we saw a title change? It was Logan Paul, right?
Uh, yeah, because before that were the Judgment Day tag titles, which we were there for.
Yep.
Or not judge after or Cody and
Yes.
Jay
Yeah.
dropping him. Yeah.
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
we
it
were
has been a
also there
while.
for
Yeah.
EO's cash in.
God, how cool was that?
But yeah, like Papa H loves those long title reigns, and I think Punk coming back, maybe winning the Rumble, would be a huge thing. Maybe he fails the first time against Drew and then wins the Rumble, and that's his Mania moment. I wouldn't be mad at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we got nothing but time, bud.
A lot of time.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the Wrestling Junkies podcast tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure to hit that QR code in the top left corner. Like, share, subscribe. If you know one person that would enjoy this podcast, just share it with them. Again, there's enough crappy stuff that goes on in the world. We're just a couple of dudes that like to talk wrestling and have a good time with it. So let's all be kinder to one another. Got some great interviews again dropping this week. Make sure to join us for Wind Down Wednesday this Wednesday. Thursday, we will be taking our talents over to Wrestling Spotlight on Local Now, channel 2074. Make sure to download that app. We're going to be talking all things AEW Revolution. And then we've got a fun weekend planned for ourselves. We're going to go see Bryce Cannon versus Matt Cardona for the
Yes, we
Laureato Pro
are.
Wrestling Championship. Absolutely pumped to go check that out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long weekend with you. No, I hate you all. What? What did we do?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
The Mad King.
Whatever. Yeah, seriously. Oh well, I love him anyway.
It's okay.
Yeah, no,
Starting
thank you
to.
guys. See, there you go. It's just because you guys are Eagles fans, you like to crap on my Bengals. So,
No, we don't have to try that hard.
yeah. Anyway, for the podcast, that I'm Mr. Cincinnati. This has been an episode of the Wrestling Junkies podcast. We'll talk to you guys soon.